Hello, 'tis I. Now you guys were most likely not expecting me to make another video on Carmen, and honestly, I wasn't really going to either. Last video, I made a video on CarmenRider, and this video was centered around a video that she made on me. And it was about the whole sensitive society drama. If you don't know what that is, there's a playlist, a sensitive society drama playlist, where it's basically all the videos I've made on sensitive society. You will get all the necessary context there. Basically, Carmen made a negative video on me, and it was very dumb, and what really compelled me to react to it was not only the fact that they were spouting very trans medicalist opinions in that video, she also openly supported lollies. And while the lolly thing has nothing to do with the actual situation, it was definitely something that caught my eye, especially when my friend, I mentioned them in my other video, but my friend Candy actually was like, hey, they made this video after I showed, like, hey Candy, look at this, somebody made a video on me. And it was very surprising because, like, people like lolly supporters and people who watch LollyCon usually don't just say it. They don't just say, they usually like, well, when you really think about it, like, no. Carmen just straight up said, like, I support it and you're all dumb for not supporting it. And it's horrible. For the people who don't know what lollies are or what a LollyCon is, I'm actually going to put up the clip of my old video where I explain it. So now, you may be wondering, what is a lolly supporter? A lolly supporter is somebody who supports lollies. And lollies, I'm referring specifically to LollyCon. And LollyCon is basically sexual hentai, usually, of little girls. This person supports that. I do not know whether they actually actively watch it, and I also do not know this person's age. So if this person does happen to actually watch LollyCon, and they do happen to be an adult, then we have a bigger problem on our hands than just them supporting the idea of sexualizing little kids. Now, after my first video was made, I was actually told that apparently, Carmen is 21, and I'm not 100% sure, because I don't know if that person is lying. I don't know if they were misinformed. I don't know, so I cannot be sure, but I will be talking about Carmen under the assumption that they are at least over 18. So, we are going to be reacting to two of Carmen's videos. We are going to be reacting to one about defending lollies and one about Rule 34. Before we get on to reacting to the actual videos, we should probably talk about the context behind the videos. The first video is Carmen reacting to a video somebody made talking about how lollies are bad and harmful and are made to attract pedophiles, which I 100% agree with. And Carmen reacted to that negatively, basically just being an asshole with a mix of, like, really stupid points. Carmen's second video is about how people do not have the right to get mad when people are drawing porn of their characters when they do not consent to it, which that video is, while only like 3 minutes, it is a very, very disgusting video. And it's horrible, so I wanted to pile that in. And another reason why I wanted to put these two videos together, other than the fact that it's a very short video, is because there is a bit of a theme in both of those videos, other than the theme of, porn. Let's just say there's a bit of a pattern going on with, Carmen seemingly fetishizing Asians. Anyway, let's get on to the actual videos.
Hello again, CarmenRider here.
And Virgo here back for another commentary.
Today we're going over another anti-lolly.
Not another Britney Venti.
Oh, I know, right? I just hate it when people call me out on my lolly supporting bullshit and say that I'm not allowed to fetishize little kids, bro. Sucks.
Yep. Now before we get into it, let's take a look at the thumbnail of the video. Haven't even clicked on the video and we already have straw manning.
Even under the assumption that you are the correct one in the situation and not her, that would not in any way be straw manning.
Not only are you strawmanning, your strawman is wrong.
Isn't that the point of calling something straw? You know, whatever.
Use a picture of the Reddit logo to strawman the people on the opposing side as Reddit users. Yet most subreddits go out of their way to ban lolly content.
Look who's straw manning now, Carmen.
In fact, you disproved this yourself in your video. But we will get to that in a bit.
Anyways, let's get into it.
If you think that anime and media created to appeal to otakus provides an accurate depiction of Asian culture and people, honey, you've got a big storm coming.
You're not funny.
You're not funny is not a valid criticism. If you really want to be a nitpicky asshole, at least do it in a critiquing way.
Also, the only people who actually believe that anime reflects reality are people under the age of 16.
A lot of people actually think that anime reflects real-life Japanese culture, and you seem to be one of them.
Alright, hi fairies.
I'm a demon, not a fairy. Just because I share the same VA as one doesn't mean I'm one.
Can you not roleplay with your OC during a fucking video about a taboo subject?
Welcome back to another internet archaeology. So today's video we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic. The topic of this video is going to be lollies.
Please call for help.
You're not funny.
I initially had the idea to do this video when I retweeted something on Twitter. It was a meme about lollies, but I actually asked people, you know, what are their opinions on it and maybe should I do a video, and a lot of people were interested in seeing a video on this topic, so here I am. If you're new here, internet archaeology is basically a chit-chat get ready with me style video where we look at the fossil record of the internet and try and carbon date a few trends. But with that out of the way, let's get into it.
Put y'all seatbelts on.
So when I first made that post on Twitter, a few people in the comments or the replies or whatever were basically saying, what are lollies? So let's begin with actually explaining what are lollies and lolicon. Let's define those two words. Now the exact meaning and definition of these words is as controversial and debated as the actual subject matter itself, but the most commonly agreed upon definition is that lolly is basically an aesthetic or art style typically found within anime related material that is centered around youthful and pubescent girls. This happens in every video.
Then fucking re-record your lines like a responsible adult.
I'm sorry, Carmen, but you cannot be talking about being a responsible adult because you clearly aren't one either, seeing as you're defending literal pedophilia.
Okay, so it's, you know, the cutesy kind of art style.
I wouldn't call it an art style, as I call it a term for an age range of character.
Whoa, Carmen actually said something smart for once. Good job.
Usually 2D female characters that are a look under 12. However, 13 to 17 can be considered lolly to an extent, but rather it would be considered a pay lolly.
So that's just the definition of lolly itself, and you know, that in and of itself doesn't really sound like a big deal.
Oh good! You're 10 times better than Brittany Venti already!
A big deal. But the real reason we're gathered here today is not simply that. We're gonna talk about something called lolicon.
And you blew it. Or straw manning.
Carmen, are you a Reddit user by any chance? By the way, you're getting so pissed over a fucking joke stereotype. It seems kind of like you are.
Shit writes itself.
Lolicon is basically a community on the internet who bear some kind of sexual attraction or fetishization of the lolly art style and lollies.
Wait a damn minute.
Oh hi, no one asked.
And you say that they're not funny when you're out here reusing the same jokes.
Oh hi, Raven Pines.
Like, reusing jokes isn't something bad. It can be, you know, something fun for your audience. They're like, hey, I know that joke. But when you're calling somebody else's humor bad and saying that they're not funny and not elaborating on that, maybe you should look in the fucking mirror first.
I didn't know you helped with this video.
Damn minute.
And I'm sure a few of you have already kind of thought to yourself, wait, hold on.
Nope, not really. What about you, Virgo?
Me neither.
because it's an art style that's main characteristic is individuals that look like children. If you're wondering that what I'm trying to say is there is a community of people, a very large group of people on the internet that is completely dedicated towards the creation and distribution of what is basically CP.
They're not real children. They're fucking drawings, so it isn't CP.
Now, I do not know where you live. I don't know if you're in the US or if you are somewhere outside of the US, but I do know that here in the US, there is a law strictly prohibiting CP of fictional characters. I'm about to read it straight off of Google, and I'll put it up on the screen too. Federal law strictly prohibits the distribution of obscene matter to minors. In addition, visual representations such as drawings, cartoons, or paintings that appear to depict minors engaged in sexual activity and are obscene are also illegal under federal law. And by the way, this also means fictional characters. It doesn't have to be a real living minor, as long as it is a minor and is drawn to be a minor engaging in sexual activity. It is CP, and you can get arrested for it, at least here in the US. Also, even if it wasn't technically illegal, that wouldn't make it any less bad. It's porn of children, fictional or not, it's still gross.
The reason actual CP is morally wrong is because CP hurts actual children physically and mentally.
It's not about the fictional child's non-existent feelings, it's about the fact that pedophiles are able to find child porn so fucking easily, and looking at fictional child porn is gonna get you in a lot less trouble than actually looking at real child porn, and it's a lot easier to find than real child porn, so it's obvious that pedophiles are going to get into this lolicon circle because it's more supported than actual sex with children, real-life children. And that's the thing here. We're not saying that it's as harmful as having sex with a real-life fucking child or looking up real-life child porn. We're saying that it's gross and it should be treated in a similar way that real child porn is treated, and the fact that it isn't is gross.
Lollies and shotas aren't real. Thus, any pain they feel has no real consequences.
Yeah, sure, their non-existent pain does not have any real-life consequences, but you know what does? The distribution of fictional CP. Because guess what? Pedophiles are going to think, hey, this is a safe space for people like me, because it is. The lolicon circles are literally supporting, promoting, and encouraging pedophiles. If you are an adult and you are in the whole lolicon circle and you think that CP of fictional children is hot, you are a pedophile.
Then you are correct. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. That's enough internet for today.
You're not funny.
Oh my god, are you expressing your hatred and disgust for fictional child porn on the internet in a funny way that's entertaining? Well, that's cringy.
And this is actually a much more prolific problem than people think. One of the main things that kind of inspired me to make this video was a poll I saw on a subreddit for Genshin Impact.
It's pronounced Genshin Impact.
Genshin.
Joke's on you, both of you are wrong.
Also, you haven't really explained the problem yet.
She literally did by saying it was CP, or basically CP as she worded it. She literally told you she doesn't need to in-depth explain why child porn is bad, and if she does, then you need some actual fucking help.
Oh yo. So there was a poll on one of their NSFW hentai servers, r/Genshin Impact hentai.
You're not funny.
Also, porn of video games is nothing new, so there's really nothing to be upset about.
Literally nobody is trying to claim that drawing porn of video games is bad or it's a big deal. It's not. As long as the characters you're drawing porn of are of age, you know, like 18 or older, not lollies.
This poll basically asked the entirety of the subreddit if they believe they should ban NSFW artwork of characters that are pretty much depictions of minors.
They're called lollies.
God damn, and I thought you were nitpicking in the video about me.
I'll try to skirt around what the topic at hand is. Brittany Venter tried to do this with her child card and ice crap.
You know that this person literally described the definition of lollies, right? That's like saying, oh, I hate Mando Pony because he's sexually attracted to children. And then you come in and say, that's actually called a pedophile. Don't skirt around the situation. Like, they're just describing the definition of a word without using the word. It's not avoiding the subject, that's actually breaking down the subject.
While the answer to that question may be extremely obvious to us,
You're right! The answer is no.
Ugh, I'm sorry, I think I'm gonna vomit.
4.8 thousand people said yes,
This really do be a 1984 moment.
and 3.8 thousand said no. That's enough internet for today, which means the ban passed under a slim margin of around 20%.
Okay, and? You got the result you wanted, right? Why not consider this a win on your part?
They're not mad because they didn't get the result they wanted, which was yes. They're mad because there are a concerning amount of people that support and even watch to this shit, and it's disgusting, and that's the thing that you don't realize.
Almost 4,000 people of the 8,000 that voted chose no. That is one very, very real and clear example of this lolicon community and how it kind of exists within other communities.
I guess our army is growing faster than I got.
You just fucking admitted to being a pedophile. And you're just gonna leave that into the fucking video. Unless it's your fucking OC that's admitting it. I don't even fucking know. But I don't care. You're fucking disgusting. I'm now going to delete the warning in the beginning of my video that said, do not accuse you of being a pedophile.
And what's even more interesting is the comments of that poll are pretty much a gold mine if you're interested in the psychology and what exactly goes on.
They're just people who like porn.
No, please, finish your sentence. Point of what? CarmenRider?
Not axe murderers. There is no psychology to be had here.
Actually, if you look into it, pedophiles have quite interesting psychology.
In these people's heads. What kind of rhetoric are they using to justify their no vote? Because the girls were really fighting. They were fiercely debating this topic.
It's almost as if people are passionate about things like censorship on the internet.
Censorship of what? Child porn, aka something that's illegal. When something's illegal, it's not allowed on the internet. How is this not getting through your thick fucking skull?
This topic. So let's take a look, shall we? Because you'll find that some of the most incriminating things come out when you allow them to speak freely.
Are you suggesting that these people's free speech should be violated just because they disagree with you? If so, then that's fucking horrible.
Imagine somebody leaving hate comments on your videos saying, you're just a man pretending to be a woman so you can get into women's spaces and rape little girls. How would you feel about that? Would you, I don't know, want those comments to be filtered? Deleted? Oh, no, you can't delete it because you're just deleting something that disagrees with you. That's censorship, isn't it, Carmen? And while, yeah, I do think that a comment like that is absolutely disgusting and should be censored, that is using the same logic that you're using.
In your eyes, a genre of hentai is morally worse than a violation of a constitutional right.
Yes, actually. Also, it's not a violation of shit. Child porn is a violation to the safety of children.
If anything, that's more telling of you than the lolicons you strawman and demonize.
That moment when somebody demonizes pedophiles.
It seemed that the main excuse that a lot of people were using was the phrase, it's just drawings, it's just artwork.
Because it is.
That's like saying that slurs are just words.
And while objectively, yes, they are just drawings, the thing is those drawings attract the attention of certain individuals.
That is partially true. I'm not gonna lie, the people who hurt actual children tend to join lolly circles. However, they are the minority, not the majority.
You know, people drawing porn of fictional children is probably gonna attract people who wanna fuck real children. Also, it's not the majority, it's every single one of those fuckers. Including you, seeing as you literally admitted to watching Lolicon. You just admitted to watching CP.
There are various groups of people who do like lolly content. Some people like it because they're into size play, and thus they go hand in hand.
You know, you can play out your whole size play fetish without looking up porn of literal fucking kids, right?
Then there are people who like edge play, like Carmen, and edge play is done with consenting adults, not children.
Yes, And that is why that people who enjoy this fetish should be looking up porn of adults who roleplay as children instead of actual children. You being an age player does not excuse you having pedophilic tendencies, Carmen. There's nothing wrong with being an age player, but there is something wrong with being a lolicon.
And then there's the group of people who are victims of child sexual abuse themselves.
You know the people who go through child sexual abuse and don't get the correct treatment for their trauma? You know that they usually grow up to be pedophiles, right? They grow up to have those sexual feelings for children, and they grow up to end up having sex with children.
I'm alert to female rape victims who like uncut porn.
Being into CNC and being a lolly are not comparable, because CNC, there's actually consent going into it before the actual roleplay, because CNC is a roleplay. That's really all it is, it's role-playing. Lollies are about actual children. Sure, they're fictional, but it's supposed to depict actual minors instead of adults pretending to be children.
A lot of people who like lollies are victims of actual child abuse themselves.
Oh my god, what a quirky coincidence. So are pedophiles. It's almost like there's a direct link between being a lolicon and being a pedophile.
This is important to know, as most people into lollies know this fact.
Oh, Carmen, don't you mean pedophile?
Given that fact, any actual pedophiles joining lolly circles in an attempt to groom real children will be met with nothing but the dirt.
So, all of them?
Now, in the case of Genshin Impact specifically, that game is rated PEGI 12.
And T for teen.
12, which means it's a game that may have a large amount of adolescents and minors playing it. And I'm sure that you can imagine how it certainly would not be a very good thing if the community were to be saturated with predatory individuals.
Virgo already explained the predator part for me. But even then, the porn is separate from the game.
Individuals, you're literally creating a fox in the henhouse kind of situation. Why is it that this lolicon community is obsessed with media that is also simultaneously popular with—
You say that, but then you show Kana, a character from Miss Kabeshi's Dragon Maid, a show which is TV 14. If you're 14 plus, chances are you already know not to fuck with pedophiles.
Did you just imply that 14-year-olds aren't children?
youth. I don't really think that's a coincidence. And that's the main issue. That's what a lot of people are rightfully concerned about. And
that just sounds like fear-mongering for an agenda, honestly.
The agenda that pedophiles are bad and shouldn't be fed with child porn?
Concerned about. And if you look at a lot of the rhetoric that was taking place in those comment sections, and I'm sure in a lot of other places of the internet, they're debating the lewd and risque nature of these pieces, as opposed to the audience that they're catered for.
Really? Because Brittany Venti said otherwise.
Who the fuck is Brittany Venti, and why do you keep bringing her up as if she matters in this situation? Also, not every anti-lolly, or whatever the fuck you call them, is going to have the same reasons for not liking lollies. Like, my reasonings for not liking lollies are probably way different than Brittany Venti's.
And another thing that lolicons like to do is they like to do the art argument, like, oh, it's just art. That's all it is. It's just a picture.
Because it is.
You know, a picture of what? This is something I ask with the OnlyFans girls that do the same type of argument. Why don't you go ahead and finish your sentence? A picture of what?
A picture of Chloe's nice plump ass, of course.
A picture of your butthole that you're selling for $3 to a stranger on the internet?
Well, yeah, I heavily disagree with Brittany Venti comparing lollies to people selling their ass on OnlyFans. I do agree with the first part. What is that a drawing of? It's a drawing of a child having sex.
A picture of a child being sexually abused?
And Raven Pines as well.
Oh, I've definitely heard that name before.
Oh, hi, Raven Pines.
What the fuck, Carmen? Sky in the mod is fucking 12 years.
Oh, but it's okay that Sky's 12 because she has such lootable features, doesn't she, Carmen?
Stick to an argument.
How does that prove anything you were saying?
they're catered for. And it's a very common occurrence for people attempting to justify that stuff to go through all these mental and rhetorical gymnastics to try and get you to agree with them, when in reality they're purposefully dodging the point. It's not about debating the nature of modern art or implying some kind of cultural difference that comes from the East. And we'll get into that in a second because I have some opinions about that.
The tea is exceptionally...
Imagine unironically watching Wendy Williams.
Imagine unironically thinking that a 12-year-old has rootable features.
Don't you get a kid's depth of disrespect or something?
It doesn't take the mind of a mastermind. It's not rocket science to figure out how this stuff can be a problem. It functions in a very parasitic way, and while I keep talking about Genshin Impact, in this specific case, just know that that's our kind of our case study here. Because this group of people, the lolicons, they move from fandom to fandom.
Then why stick to Genshin Impact?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because this person enjoys Genshin Impact and is very passionate about the subject of Genshin Impact, therefore they would like to talk about it. Kinda like how I'm actually possibly maybe planning on making a video talking about a specific Happy Tree friendship and how people are accusing it of being problematic when it's not. And while this ship dynamic is very popular within many other fandoms, I'm gonna specifically be focusing on that ship because it's from a fandom that I personally enjoy, and I know a lot more about it than other fandoms.
Surely showing other cases of lolly would help your argument.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna argue that adding more examples will make your point stronger. That doesn't change the fact that most of this person's points is strong enough on its own to where it doesn't need other examples. While yes, other examples would make it stronger, not adding those examples doesn't make the argument weak or wrong.
It wouldn't make it good, but it would help it nonetheless.
Fandom to fandom. It's kind of a parasitic relationship where they kind of destroy that fandom and it kind of becomes taboo and it becomes associated with certain things and then they move to the next one.
No, they're just people who like multiple things. People can like Genshin Impact and still like other games. You talk about lolly like it's the fucking darkness from Pibby.
I don't know what that is, but sounds pretty accurate when we're referring to literal pedophiles.
It's not some brain-melting parasite. It's just people who like art.
Art of what, Carmen?
So in a way it sucks because the developer MiHoYo, the artist that made the characters, all that, you can't really blame them for the way people take their work and use it out of context and
True, but porn doesn't affect the developers.
It does, because when you're drawing porn of their child characters, it will probably make them uncomfortable, to the point where they might even want to speak out about it.
It's made by fans for fans.
That doesn't mean that the developers aren't going to find it and aren't going to find it weird.
corrupt its meaning. Because as I said, the game itself is not explicit at all. It's kind of similar in a way how the brony community made something as innocent as My Little Pony a far more complex topic.
Nope, you're not gonna show that here. I'm gonna blur that out, thank you very much.
So censorship is only bad when you're personally into the fetish.
Anyways, I've seen this talking point a lot, and it always sucks. You can watch MLP without looking at sexual stuff relating to it.
I mean, yeah, as long as all the characters are of age, I don't really see an issue with My Little Pony porn. Oh no, but with your logic, draw as much spike porn as you want. Who cares if he's a literal fucking child?
Same with Genshin Impact.
It's the perfect host for the lolicon parasite to exist within. It seems that the strategy here is to create an atmosphere of faux naivete and innocence. All those people who voted no, that's why a majority of them are saying, oh, it's just artwork of this Peggy 12 game for 12-year-olds.
13-year-olds, actually. And yes, it is just artwork. We shouldn't have to censor a thing just for the comfort of others we don't give a shit about.
Yeah, just like I don't have to censor my opinion on sensitive society's transphobic bullshit. Also, it's literally fucking illegal to draw porn of minors, fictional or not. If you're gonna blame anyone for censoring shit, blame the fucking law.
And the more you think about it, the more kind of gaslighty and manipulative that becomes.
Hi, Dulu. I didn't know you worked on this video.
This joke would be funnier if I knew who Dulu is. Maybe you should give some fucking context. I know, it's hard, but you're a fucking commentator. You should know how to add context to your shit.
Becomes. Because number one, that's not the main reason why people are upset with it, and secondly, that's not the main reason why the lolicon people like it. Do you think people are having this argument because they actually care about Genshin Impact?
Yes.
I mean, maybe some of them, but most of them probably just want an excuse to defend CP.
In the game? Or is it because there's something else going on there?
It's so sick and twisted.
As I said before, these people jump from fandom to fandom, any place where they can masquerade behind the illusion that they're just interested in the fan art of the game. For every supply, there's always a demand.
What did any of that have to do with supply and demand?
A lot, actually.
Demand. And the people that are really hurt by that rhetoric in the end, once people within the mainstream and the larger parts of the community realize what's going on, they may view the source material in a distasteful way, but
Then they're fucking idiots because everything has porn of it.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but that doesn't really change the fact that you're defending people with pedophilic tendencies.
tasteful way, but that perception is not shaped by the actual artist that created it, but shaped by the people that distorted its meaning. I hope you can see how that's actually very, very parasitic, you know?
Nope, not in the slightest.
Do you need to get your head checked? Because that sounds pretty parasitic to me.
Community, one fandom to the next. Any place where they can get away with this behavior.
What behavior?
Making, beating off to, and distributing CP.
They're just watching porn.
But porn of what?
With this behavior, but in the process of doing so, they end up completely destroying the public reception of the piece. And another thing I saw a concerning amount of people bringing up was they were basically saying that that's just how people in Asia look. I kid you not, I actually got in an argument with someone over this, and they were trying to tell me that this character was at least 24.
Have you ever seen an Asian person before? Most of us are known to look younger than we actually are.
Did you just use a fictional character's testimony to prove that Asians age slower? This is worse than fucking hearsay. I need to call Ponder Sprocket. Oh my fucking god, hold on. Also, yes, well, from what I've seen, Asians do age a little bit slower than Caucasians. That doesn't mean that you can use that as an excuse to fucking fetishize them. Also, I disagree with Liam's point too. Babyface does not equal child. Lollies are not adults that look like children. A lolly is a fictional child that looks like a child. Also, it's not even about the race of the character, it's about the fact that the art style makes the characters look younger than they actually are. And no, I'm not talking about the lolly art style, I'm talking about anime art styles in general.
Exactly. Why do you think I made Virgo part Singaporean?
To fetishize Asians, of course.
I asked the person at the desk for a body that looked 18, and let's just say I still got sus looks when walking out of that building.
Nobody needs to know about you and your fucking little sex robot, OC. Now let's get back to the actual subject before my ears fucking explode.
I'm still programmed to be 18.
Well, hey, at least your character is not a fucking lolly.
I know you're watching, Frey.
Oh, you mean this fry? Don't worry, guys. This video will be linked in the description. It's a great one.
Don't even try to use this stoke as ammo.
But in all seriousness, let me provide an actual real-life example. This is Masahiro Sakurai. You'll probably know him as the creator of Kirby and Super Smash Bros. Now, without Googling or already knowing, tell me how old he is. You're probably thinking something like 25 or something around there. I mean, he's still got his brown hair, so he can't be that old. Hell, he doesn't even have any wrinkles yet. Well, I bet you didn't guess 51, because that's how old he is.
I mean, that's just somebody with a baby face. It has nothing to do with their fucking race.
51 years old. So if this youthful-looking man can be 51, surely most adult men are gonna look a little Shada-ish.
Bitch, is you blind? What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming. And to me, nothing screams basement dweller more than that. If you think that anime and media created to appeal to otakus provides an accurate depiction of Asian culture and people, please go outside.
Imagine unironically using the touch grass argument.
Imagine unironically using the I don't need consent they're too hot. In the next video we're gonna talk about. Trust me, you'll know it when you see it.
Go to the bathroom! You're shitting yourself!
Not yet.
Okay, I will admit that clip is a classic.
I feel like I bring this up in almost every other video, but I feel like the context always requires it. I'm half Asian and I grew up in a Tagalog-speaking household, so I feel like I'm a little bit qualified to speak.
Honey, you don't look Asian in the slightest. You're a fucking Latina if anything.
Ah yes, she's totally not Asian because she's not pasty white and doesn't wear cutesy uwu kawaii clothing and say uwu kawaii every 5 fucking seconds. Also, you have no right to tell somebody what their fucking race is, so sit the fuck down.
Yep, she's got all the textbook features.
Of course we're basing this shit on stereotypes, seeing as you yourself are trying to claim that somebody is not Asian because they do not have the stereotypical Asian features. Also, I probably should have mentioned this in the last clip, but what if this person is half Latina, half Asian? They only said they were half Asian, not fully Asian. So they could be half Latina, half Asian. They could also be not Latina at all, and you could just be assuming based on stereotypical features. You hate stereotypes until stereotypes actually are able to help you in the situation.
The olive skin, the black hair, the roundish face, and the unironic use of the Rouge the Bat style eye makeup. And before you call me racist,
You racist, but not for the Latina thing.
I'm also Latina, so I know my shit. Also, even if you did look Asian, not all Asians are the same as you.
Oh my god, the irony, oh my god.
Especially not you.
But qualified to speak on this. And while I am slightly flattered that a lot of people think we Asians are just immune to aging and we stay naturally young like the vampire children from the Volturi, that simply isn't true. Asia is not some magical wonderland where all your sick, twisted fantasies can come true.
Period! The fuck?
And I noticed that a common strategy amongst the people that do use this in their rhetoric, why a lot of people bring up cultural differences, is to create a situation where if you disagree with them, they paint you as being racist or bigoted against Asian culture.
I mean, Brittany Venti accused all of Japan of being pedophiles in a tweet she made.
Nobody cares about Brittany Venti. We're talking about somebody named Liam, not Brittany. You don't even know if this person supports or even knows that this person exists. Stop acting like all anti-lollies or whatever the fuck you call them are the same.
Asian culture, when in reality there simply are no cultural differences that would make that anything less than not okay. How can I be ignorant and bigoted about my own culture?
Have you ever heard of white savior
Oh hey, that's me. According to you, at least. Which, you are definitely not the most reliable source of information.
and race cucks?
It doesn't really make sense. But that's the thing about this rhetoric, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, when you try to turn it into some Pizzagate level conspiracy, then of course it's gonna sound retarded.
I'm just gonna assume that you can reclaim the word retard and move on.
And like Pizzagate, it's nothing but bullshit.
But the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit more of a unique perspective. As I said from the beginning, lolly is kind of almost an art style.
I think you're thinking of chibis, not lollies.
Yeah, and that's something that I agree with. If you drew porn of a chibi character who is canonically an adult, that would not make it a lolly, only if that character was under 18. I cut out the rest of the video because it was kind of irrelevant. It wasn't really much about lollies and why they're good. It was basically just talking about lolly anatomy and whatever. I don't really give a shit about that. That's not what I'm here to talk about. If you want, you can watch the full video in the description. Now, let's get on to the second video. This video is about Rule 34 and why you should not prevent Rule 34 VOCs, and if you do, you suck, basically. That's the video. But you may think, oh, that video sucks. It can't be that bad though, right? Well, trust me, it's bad. Like, my jaw physically dropped when I heard some of the shit that this woman said. Let's get on to it.
Well, I didn't expect to do an original topic this time, but here we are. So a while back, I made a tweet about how some people draw hentai of others' OCs. The tweet reads, Artist: Hey, don't draw porn of my character. I'm gonna report you. The character:
Ooh, your internalized sexism is showing. Might want to cover that up a little bit. Somebody having big boobs or big hips does not give you an excuse to fucking sexualize them. And Your mentality is literally the same mentality that rapists use to excuse raping young girls. Oh, but they had huge breasts. I couldn't help myself. Shut the fuck up.
And then it was the following image. Some notable examples include
Literally the only one of those characters that even slightly fit the description that you were showing was the top right, and even then that doesn't give you a fucking excuse to sexualize a character when the creator of the character said that they don't want you sexualizing it.
Sky, Sienna from PN Seymour, Wolfie Chew, and Jaden. I swear, the people who beg for their characters to not be looted have the most lootable features.
Not only are one of these characters a literal 12-year-old, but 3 out of 4 of the characters that you were showing, from what I know, are self-inserts, including the 12-year-old.
Sky is a small bratty weeb girl. That's fucking adorable.
God, that sentence in my head with the context of lootable features just rings all the pedo bells in my fucking head. You are fucking disgusting. If you're not a pedophile, I don't know what the fuck you are, because what the fuck?
Sienna is just fucking look at her. You cannot tell me you don't want to put her tits around your dick.
Okay. That doesn't make it okay to sexualize them? Imagine using that logic with a real fucking person. Like, oh, she won't let me have sex with her, but her boobs are so big. What the fuck?
Wolfie Chew literally sexualizes herself in the thumbnails.
And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay?
Hope that helped.
And Jaden, well, she's funny, relatable, poofy hair,
How in any way are those things lootable?
and all above, Asian.
What?
People would
No, you cannot just pass that by. Say, oh, Jaden's so lootable because she's Asian, and then just go on to your next fucking point. You cannot do that. That's not how this works. First of all, not only did you fetishize Asians in your other video, you pretty much directly admitted to fetishizing Asians in this video. Also, why are you blaming Jaden for being Asian? Because the way you're phrasing this is making it seem like, oh, it's your fault that all these characters have lootable features, you're just luring in the simps. Like, Jaden, you're Asian. Being Asian isn't something you can control.
People would often use the argument for Jaden and Wolfie of, they're based on real people.
Jaden isn't based on a real person. Jaden is a real person. You could argue that Wolfie Chew is a character that is lightly based on the real life person Wolfie Chew, but Jaden Animations is literally just Jaden, but a cartoon character.
And to that I say, the keyword being based on.
You know Sky is also based on a real person too, right? The mod was based on a real-life kid who made an OC based on them to ship themselves with Boyfriend from Friday Night Funkin'. Also, again, that does not prove your point in any way. Whether it's an OC that has nothing to do with you as a person, or a character that literally looks exactly the same as you, it doesn't matter. Don't sexualize characters unless the artist is okay with it.
It's not of the actual people. Pretty sure doing that would be impossible without deep faking them, which is something I am against. But now for the core of the video. 3 reasons why you shouldn't prevent porn of your OCs. Number 1. It's a form of appreciation.
If somebody says no to tea, Carmen, they don't want tea.
Someone drawing porn of your character is an artist's way of showing that they appreciate your character.
All the hentai that exists of Z-Fix's art, despite the person who drew that porn hating them, says otherwise.
It's not easy to get someone up in art form, but you managed to do it. And that's just more bragging points for you.
The argument, be grateful, never really works in most situations, so I don't know why you even brought it up.
Number 2. It's inevitable. There's a reason Rule 34 exists. It's inevitable.
So are things like murder. Yeah, people are going to commit murder. There's a lot of serial killers out there that get away with what they do. But that doesn't mean that murder shouldn't be illegal, because it's inevitable.
Trying to stop it will only result in people making you look like an ass, and others making porn out of spite.
You just completely destroyed your whole appreciation argument in like 5 words.
This is the internet. Literally everything is made into porn.
But that doesn't mean that YouTubers aren't allowed to speak out about it and say, hey, could you not do this please, to possibly minimize the amount of porn made of them.
Number 3. Free publicity. Porn is free publicity.
Literally all fan art is free publicity, not just porn.
I would have never even considered playing the Senran Kagura games if it wasn't for the hentai made of them. Same goes for interspecies reviewers. And to this day, I love those franchises. I've seen way too many artists try to say shit like, please don't draw porn in my characters. And frankly, I'm sick of seeing it.
Do I need to show you that T-consent video again, Carmen?
Fictional characters are fair game for porn.
That is not true, because you can get arrested for drawing or distributing CP of fictional characters.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
You sure, Carmen?
Am I saying you have to like it? No. I'm saying is that you shouldn't try to prevent it.
Look, just because you want to look at porn of a 12-year-old fictional character doesn't mean that it should be allowed.
Anyways, that's all for today. I know this was short, but I wanted to get my views out there in video form.
Could you, not get your views out there next time? Thanks. Now, I'm not going to straight up say, Carmen, you're a pedophile, but I'm not saying that you guys can't assume as so, because from what she said, she's pretty much admitted to being sexually attracted to young kids. Whether they're fictional or not, it's still a young kid. And she's implied that that's her type, too, which makes it even more pedophilic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this shed some light on some of the things that Carmen has said and done, and I hope that this video is also entertaining. I don't want this video to be super boring. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.